Restaurant reality check.
We've seen about a 50% decline in the last 3 months.
A new study finds thousands of businesses will bid farewell in 2026. Closing arguments underway in Welland, Ontario into the killing of an Essex woman. And your pet, your responsibility.
They're animals. You can't predict what they're going to do.
Reminder, keeping your dog on a leash is law.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on CTV Windsor and AM 800. Canadians are cutting back on eating out and restaurants are feeling it. A new study suggests thousands of restaurants could close in 2026. CTV's Travis Fortnum at the local implications of this. And Travis, you spoke with a local eatery that says business has been cut in half.
That's right. At Friday's Fish and Chips, regulars who once filled the dining room are coming in less often as people tighten their spending. They say a Friday night used to be packed, but these days the place is largely half full. At Friday's Fish and Chips, the whole restaurant's filled with the delicious smell of fresh fried fish, the sound of fries sizzling in the fryers, but what it's not filled with these days is customers.
We've seen about a 50% decline in the last 3 months.
Owner Steve Crawford says things have been majorly slowing down as folks tighten their budgets more and more, with tough economic times forcing families to cut back on discretionary spending like eating out. He says even he's not dining out as much.
It's tough out here.
Crawford and his patrons aren't struggling alone. A new study out of Dalhousie University projects more than 4,000 restaurants could close across Canada this year, with 7,000 already shutting their doors in 2025.
And what we're seeing right now are consumers under tremendous financial pressure. They're having a hard time buying food at the grocery store, so they're not spending as much time in food service.
And those food costs are going up for restaurants too. So are rent and insurance. Restaurants Canada says 41% of restaurants are operating at a loss or barely breaking even, but are keeping prices low because they know customers are budgeting.
We've cut the profits in order to keep the business going.
Crawford says prices at Fridays have only gone up once in the past 3 years, despite those costs still climbing.
Retirement fund keeps going down. That's where we're at with that.
For Crawford, the strain shows up most clearly during what used to be their busiest hours. He says Friday dinner rushes once meant a packed dining room, a sure sign the night was going to be a good one.
Kidney fault, yeah.
And now, like at its busiest, what is it?
Pass.
And on top of the stress of dwindling business, Crawford isn't just trying to stay afloat. He's also pushing forward with expansion. He says their new location in Leamington has been doing well there because there are fewer choices for diners, and they're working toward opening another restaurant in Chatham. Stefanie.
Okay, Travis Fortnum with our top story tonight. Thank you, Travis. So this takes us to our question of the day. Do you think the GST and HST should be permanently removed on all food? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. On Friday, we asked if those who breach their release conditions for a second time be denied bail. More than 1,100 people weighed in. 94% of them say yes. Windsor police releasing a photo of a suspect in an arson that caused more than $500,000 in damage. Police say they were notified from an insurance company about a fire 2 months earlier at a house in the 2300 block of Festival Avenue. Police say a mattress was deliberately set on fire on September 7th while the homeowner was reportedly out of town. Investigators found surveillance footage showing a suspect gaining access to the home and then departing a short time later. He is described as a man with a heavy build. At the time, he was wearing a gray sweatshirt, light-colored pants, and black shoes with white soles. Chatham-Kent police are investigating a large copper theft. Police say there were two separate break-and-enters at a business in Tilbury last week. In both incidents, police say that thieves caused significant damage when they stole copper wire. A total loss is estimated at $260,000. And last Friday, officers arrested a 24-year-old man. The charges include break-and-enter, possession of stolen property, and mischief over $5,000. Closing arguments are underway and behind schedule in the murder trial of a Toronto man charged with killing a woman from Essex. 20-year-old Juliana Panunzio and 18-year-old Christine Crooks were shot to death at a house party in Fort Erie in 2021. 27-year-old Christopher Lucas of Toronto has not only pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder, but his lawyer says a former co-accused, Trevor Barnett, is responsible for the killings. Crook's blood was found on Barnett's shoes, which matched a bloody footprint left in the kitchen. Barnett, according to the defense, threw away the clothes he was wearing the night of the shooting, and he disposed of the car he left at the scene. And he was the one to give the weapon to a mutual friend with the serial number scratched off. Lucas, on the other hand, his lawyers argue, kept the clothes he was wearing and no blood was found on any of them. Barnett testified at trial and presented evidence that implicated Lucas, which the defense says was full of lies. Barnett, the jury also knows, was accused of murder, but his case never made it to trial. The defense will continue their closing arguments tomorrow, then the Crown will have their turn. And we have more details from today's closing arguments online, including what may have started the argument and why the defense says his client and a former co-accused did not live even remotely in the civilized moral world. You can find it all at ctvnewswindsor.ca. Let's take a break now. Windy and rainy conditions to chat about. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins us tonight. Gary.
Stefanie, good evening, folks. It's cold out there, windy, and of course, wind chill is a factor. Tonight and tomorrow, windy again, and although we see snow across Ontario, it's well to our north. Working east, there is snow on the way, but before that, it could be rain. We'll be mild enough, maybe seeing +5 tomorrow afternoon, before temperatures take a nosedive and become below seasonal for the rest of the week. I'll break down what you need to know in terms of the snowfall tallies we expect for the rest of the week into next week. It's all coming up. For now, I'll send it back to you at the desk.
A reminder today for dog owners across Essex County, keep your pets on a leash in public spaces. It follows renewed concerns about off-leash dogs after charges were laid in a dog attack in Essex. CTV's Chris Campbell reports.
People don't feel safe walking right now in the town of Essex, so we really have to take this seriously.
Leash laws are back in the spotlight in Essex. Local leaders are urging dog owners to follow the rules.
This is something I personally have zero tolerance about.
Mayor Sherry Bondi plans to bring a notice of motion to Essex Town Council tonight aimed at reinforcing the town's existing leash bylaws. Essex County OPP laid charges in regards to a dog attack last week. Since then, Bondi says she's received 15 messages about similar situations.
At no point in our municipality do I want anybody walking down any street in Essex feeling unsafe due to a dog off leash.
She says while most dog owners are responsible, even one off-leash encounter can quickly turn dangerous.
Yeah, I've seen a few times, but not very often.
At the off-leash dog park in Essex, one dog owner says he doesn't see the issue often, but admits it does happen outside designated areas.
They're animals. You can't predict what they're going to do.
In a media release, Essex County OPP said all dog owners need to be familiar with the Dog Owners Liability Act, stating under the act, the owner of a dog shall exercise reasonable precautions to prevent it from biting or attacking a person or domestic animal, or from behaving in a manner that poses a menace to the safety of the public. It goes on to say the owner of a dog could be liable if the dog bites or attacks another person or domestic animal.
Leash your dogs, and even in your own property, make sure they're under your control.
Windsor Essex County Humane Society Executive Director Lynette Bain says it's an important reminder for owners to take simple steps that can make a big difference if a dog ever gets loose.
We do live in an area where there are wildlife around. We hear multiple reports of coyotes, of other wildlife, and you never know what's lurking or what's out there, so it's better safe than sorry.
Meantime, Bondi says there's a plan to bring another off-leash dog park to the municipality.
We just did a master plan in Harrow, and it's recommending a dog park, around our baseball diamonds, so that's a place where you can, bring your dog. I wish we could have more dog parks, but they are an expense, and a lot of people don't even like using them as well.
In Essex, Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Meantime, the province is considering a new regulations that would ban certain procedures on dogs and cats, which animal experts have deemed to be medically unnecessary. The proposal outlines specific procedures that would no longer be allowed. For example, it would no longer be permitted for owners to get their cats declawed. It would also become illegal to debark a dog by operating on their vocal cords or to crop their ears. The province says veterinarians would still be permitted to carry out any procedure deemed necessary for the animal's well-being. The Ministry of the Solicitor General is accepting feedback on the proposed rule changes until February 5th. Officials at Matthew's house in Forest Glade put out an urgent appeal for help over the weekend after a water main break Saturday night left the donor-funded refugee shelter without drinkable water. They say it happened around 7:30 Saturday night. The hope is repairs could be completed today. In the meantime, the agency needs to gather enough water for 72 people to drink and use. Now the organization needs to find the funds to cover the cost to fix it, estimated to be anywhere from $2,000 to $20,000. The executive director telling CTV News the Riverside Optimist Club donated 178 gallons of water over the weekend, and that several other community groups also stepped up to ease the burden.
Perfect world scenario, we're going to dig it up and it's going to be just a 1 foot blowout, and he's going to have it fixed in a couple hours and we'll be good. Worst case scenario, we're having to run a new water line from the street all the way into the building.
The UHC Hub of Opportunities is asking for help filling the shelves at 15 local food banks. In a social media post, the hub listed 10 items that are still needed, including canned meats, pasta, cereal, and snacks. They also need side dishes, canned soups, and canned vegetables. CEO June Muir says the need in the community is still increasing. Donations can be dropped off at the UHC Hub of Opportunities on Cantillon Drive in East Windsor.
We have 300 visits a day. So last year we had over 235,000 visits, and it was an 11% increase from the year prior. So we'll be coming out with our stats. It's January, and we know there is going to be a significant increase.
Delegates were able to plead their case at City Hall today as council gets set to weigh tough budget choices later this month. As CTV's Bob Belichico shows us, council was asked to help make organizations whole while being encouraged to avoid an increase in user fees and to bring back the school bus extras.
If you start putting economic barriers that are beyond people's reach, they will stop.
That's what Terry Fink is hoping doesn't happen. He's asking City Council to reconsider a proposed 6 to 8% increase to user fees, saying it could create barriers for children, adults, and community groups, preventing them from participating.
You can't raise fees 6 to 8% on an annual basis because it just is accumulating. At some point, you won't be able to afford it.
That's Fink speaking on behalf of the curling community who are not playing this season. He's calling for a more modest 1 to 2% increase. Fink says a fair increase is needed, especially if the city wants to attract curlers back and not price them out.
At least $5 a year just to get us to a spot where we're be able to provide care that makes me sleep well at night.
Ron Dunn, executive director of Victoria Manor, citing rising food, healthcare, and wage costs, is asking for help. He says daily expenses have climbed to nearly $80 per person, and the city is looking at increasing the per diem from $60 to $65.
$65, great, appreciated, love it, but we need to get to 80. So we're asking really to have a conversation about, can we tie it to inflation? Can we visit it every year?
Dunn would like council to consider a $5 increase every year.
We're talking now, today, they had to take up to 3 buses.
Darcy Reno, speaking to council on behalf of high school students affected by the cancellation of school bus extras, she is urging the city to consider reviving the Transit 1000 route.
Some of them walking over 1 kilometer in 2 buses.
In her remarks, Reno said her group is committed to developing workable funding models for the service and pushing for the school board to step up financially. The budget will be discussed later this month. Bob Belichico, CTV News.
And City Council has approved the rezoning for a proposed townhouse development in the Roseland neighborhood. The triangle-shaped property where the former St. James Anglican Church once stood on Roseland Drive East is now cleared for construction. The developer says he'll begin the 16 townhouse development this spring. Each unit will have an attached garage and a driveway. Residents in the neighborhood were petitioning against the proposal, citing traffic concerns and a devaluation of existing properties. President of Petcon Realty Corp., David Petretta, says if he could have made this work with 3 single-family homes, he would have tried it.
You know, we still have some planning hurdles to go through, likely a site plan control process, but we're doing engineered drawings as we speak. So as soon as the weather breaks, I'm hoping to put services in the ground, have fully serviced development, and start late spring.
We'll just see what happens. Dave promises it's going to be beautiful and fine, and at this point I just have to trust him.
Meanwhile, the decision to reject 4 plexes is costing Tecumseh about $3 million in federal grants.
So it does confirm that we're able to keep the $1 million, the first tranche of money. However, the $3 million is the ones that we were hoping to access is no longer there.
The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation says not allowing 4 units breaches the grant agreement. Last summer, Tecumseh opted against 4 units after a year's worth of meetings, open houses, and pushback. At the time, town officials were hopeful the CMHC would still grant the entire $4.4 million. But despite the loss of the grant, Deputy Mayor Joe Becchetti believes they made the right decision.
The rules were that you had to change your official plan, which we heard loud and clear from our residents that that's not how they wanted their community to grow. And so we have to look at alternatives. And again, at the end of the day, we look at our budget, we do the best that we can, but we have to keep that in mind and respect the process.
The future of Colchester Harbour will be discussed at Council tonight in Essex. The mayor plans to ask Council to approve sending a letter to small craft harbours to reconsider funding for annual projects at the harbour. Sherry Bondi says the town notified that the federal government will no longer cover a portion of dredging costs for the federally owned harbour. Bondi says that could cost taxpayers upwards of $40,000.
We've had this great relationship where they've provided us assistance and they get a chunk of our proceeds from anything that, we bring in, whether it's docking or leasing of the building. So I'm hoping it's a two-way street where they can still help us.
We want to hear from you. Do you have a comment or question, an idea for a great story? Please text us at 10400. Still ahead on Windsor's News Leader. Why Point Pelee is scheduled to close to visitors at the end of this week. Later, Stellantis pulls the plug, phasing out plug-in hybrid vehicles that made it a segment leader. Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. After a third straight week of demonstrations, Iran is cracking down on protesters. Human rights groups say more than 500 people have been killed. Iran says it's open to talks after Donald Trump said the U.S. is considering a response to Iran's brutal tactics. Here's CTV's Mike Couture.
It's a daily struggle. With communications to Iran cut off, Iraj Avahani can't reach his siblings in the northeastern part of the country. Even more concerning, his nieces and nephews have gone missing.
You cannot imagine what's going on, and if the phone, they said, okay, he's dead or he's in the jail. We hope he's in the jail.
The hope is that his brother or sister won't have to visit a makeshift morgue to search for the body. U.S.-based rights group Hrana says it has verified the death of more than 500 protesters.
The repression the regime is using to quell the dissent, to basically stop people from standing up for their basic rights. The repression we're seeing is increasing every year, and I think we're at a breaking point.
Monday, state TV aired footage showing massive crowds at pro-government rallies right across the country. Iranian authorities are accusing both Israel and the U.S. of having a direct role in the political unrest. Iran's foreign minister says his country is ready for talks with the U.S., but is also fully prepared for war. Trump's spokesperson says he's ready to talk while keeping military options on the table.
What you're hearing publicly from the Iranian regime is quite differently from the messages the administration is receiving privately, and I think the president has an interest in exploring those messages.
Meanwhile, back in Ottawa, members of the Iranian-Canadian community can do little but send support.
And all they asking for freedom to choose to how to live, how to wear, what to eat, and what they do in their life.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has condemned the killing of protesters and urged Iran to allow for freedom of expression and peaceful assembly without fear of reprisal. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
U.S. President Donald Trump will be in Detroit this week. Hosted by the Detroit Economic Club, Trump is scheduled to speak at Motor City Casino at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. The ticketed event is being held exclusively for club members. The DEC has hosted every U.S. president since Richard Nixon. The event will also include a panel of experts that will examine the state's most pressing challenges, from trade policy impact, business talent attraction, to the future of manufacturing. 4 out of 5 Canadians say they've been scammed, either online or by phone, adding to widespread belief that crime is up across the country. But does the perception of increased criminal activity match the actual data? CTV's Adrian Gabriel digs into the stats.
From brazen smash and grab jewelry store robberies across the Greater Toronto Area to jarring shootings linked to South Asian organized crime in Surrey, BC. Video of violent acts across the country are in part stoking fears and shaking the confidence of Canadians.
Exceedingly alarming videos of people breaking into jewelry stores with sledgehammers and liquor store grabs, etc. That fuels the fear in people. But the reality is, it's not as bad as they think.
These new numbers from Angus Reid are providing a fresh snapshot of public perceptions, with a growing number of people suggesting that crime has been increasing in their communities. Multiple major crime categories are down in some of Canada's largest cities. In Ottawa, both homicides and shootings have decreased year over year. 2025 marked the fewest homicides in Calgary in the last decade. Assaults and robberies were down in Vancouver last year when compared to 2024.
Perception versus reality are often two different things, but what's really important here is that people don't feel safe.
And what the latest data shows is that people feel they're at a higher risk of being on the receiving end of a violent crime. Those public feelings may have been formed over time, regardless of what year-end data actually shows. In 2022, auto thefts were at record highs. Home invasions linked to stolen cars led to one Toronto cop suggesting that residents leave their keys at their front door to avoid confrontations with intruders, further fanning the flames of fear.
Much of that based on very high-profile coverage of some very dynamic and exceedingly alarming videos.
Another concern raised publicly, repeat violent offenders. Last year, the federal government introduced legislation to tighten bail reforms. That bill is still making its way through Parliament. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Air Canada says one of its crew members was accidentally locked in the cargo hold before a recent flight out of Toronto's Pearson Airport. In a statement to CTV News, Air Canada says the incident occurred on December 13th on an Air Canada flight from Toronto to Moncton, New Brunswick. The airline says the doors to the plane inadvertently closed while a ground crew member was inside. Once it was discovered, the plane returned to the gate and the door was opened. The crew member was not injured. Point Pelee National Park is preparing to close at the end of this week for its annual deer cull. The park will be closed from January 16th through January 21st. Parks Canada and Caldwell First Nation will be conducting the second part of its annual deer cull. The first part took place in mid-November. The goal of the cull is to restore ecological balance. The park will reopen again on January 22nd. Parks Canada has been collaborating with Caldwell First Nation since 2015 to manage the deer population. Stellantis is announcing plans to phase out plug-in hybrid programs across North America, citing changing market conditions and a focus on more competitive electric solutions. The automaker is discontinuing the 2026 Pacifica, Jeep Grand Cherokee, and Jeep Wranglers. Compared to a traditional hybrid, a PHEV has the ability to drive solely on either battery-powered or gas. The change comes amidst a policy shift that has seen governments in both Canada and the United States change course on electric vehicles. Canada's main stock index drove further into record territory today on strength in the basic materials sector. In Toronto, the TSX gained 262 points. In New York, the Dow added 86. The Nasdaq is up 63. The Canadian dollar gained 0.11 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold is up almost $114 an ounce, and oil added 38 cents a barrel. A new report finds pandemic-era drinking habits still persist. Coming up, the hangover that won't end.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Frank Karpala for sending in this image. If you've got a great weather shot, send it to us via text at 10400. We'll talk rain and wind for tomorrow and getting colder with snow on the way. Snow could dominate the forecast. Imagine that for the rest of the week.
And tomorrow, in a world where many cannabis items look like candy, how do you talk to your kids about drugs? That's tomorrow at 6 on CTV News.
From moment to moment, things change.
Mayday, mayday! We need more crews at this location.
CTV News Windsor.ca is Windsor's #1 source for online news. Watch every story from wherever you are the moment it happens. Plus exclusive content and must-see viewer video. Don't miss a moment. Windsor's leading online news source, CTV News Windsor.ca.
Windy out there, and Gary, we can expect more of that.
Windy tonight into tomorrow. A bit of a break early in the morning and then ramping up midday Tuesday into the afternoon. Saw some blue sky, which is obviously very nice. But it was colder than the temperature, which was in fact above seasonal today. Our average high is closer to -1. That's the daily maximum average. Today we got to 3 degrees Celsius. Our average low is -8. Today, so far, -3 early this morning. So, some sunshine, especially in the afternoon. Even sunny towards dusk. The air quality is good, so that's good news. The winds, though, especially along the north shores of Lake Erie. I was down in Harrow and Colchester, one of my favorite parts of southwestern Ontario. It was very cold, much colder than in Windsor or Essex, proper, if you will. And along the shoreline, lots of ice, and the winds were ripping up the waves there. Saw gusts over Lake Erie shores in the 70 to 80 range. So it's cool-ish, to say the very least. It certainly feels colder than the ambient temperatures. +1 in Chatham-Kent, that's 34 Fahrenheit. A bit warmer in Windsor. Can't really feel it. +2 or 36 right now. It feels like about -4 to -7 in our neck of the woods of southern Ontario. Colder still further north and east of us. The prairies in BC warming up. Meanwhile, Ontario staying cold-ish, but seasonal. And temperatures are likely to stay cooled, if not cool, over the next few hours tonight. We do have some snow in northern central Ontario, and some of that's pushed through Georgian Bay. The next round of snow stays mostly to our north, but we will get into some flurries, I think, late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon. Tonight, I'm calling for partly cloudy conditions from now through to midnight, and temperatures not fluctuating much. beyond 0, +1, or -1. It's really going to hover around the freeze mark. So where do we go from there? Take a look at our Enercare 7-day forecast. Windy tomorrow, high probability of rain in the late afternoon. Wednesday, we'll see +2. Tomorrow, by the way, +5. Then +2 Wednesday, flurries Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and maybe some snow. That's heavier, denser particles of that frosty, fluffy stuff falling from the sky. The average temperature this week will be about -3 for a daytime high.
Providing mental health therapy for students without missing class. North America's first recovery high school opens in Ontario with support from Bell Let's Talk. CTV's Pauline Chan recently paid a visit to the school.
For a generation of Canadians, Degrassi defined their adolescence, its joys and its struggles. And for one of its stars, Stacey Mistyshin, the show also coincided with a lot of things going on in her life.
I was struggling with eating disorders, anxiety, depression. I had all these issues.
Fast forward, and Mistyshin is now a mental health instructor at Ontario Shores, one of the recipients of this year's grants from the Bell Let's Talk Community Mental Health Fund. The $25,000 will go specifically to a program called Recovery High School.
This is the first program of its kind in North America, and it started right here at Ontario Shores. The goal is simple: help students stay in school while getting the mental health support they need.
Mistyshin says when Degrassi ended, she immersed herself in education about mental and physical well-being.
And physical mental health is so connected, right? So I always knew that I wanted to talk more about mental health, especially after I lost my brother to suicide.
That was in 2010, the same year Bell Let's Talk Day began. That's why Bell Let's Talk Chair Mary Deacon says centres like Ontario Shores are so important. And as she handed over the corporate check, she had two particular young people in mind, her two brothers, who both died by suicide.
One in particular, Ted, started struggling with OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, when he was a very little boy. And that was at a time when there were no effective medications or treatments for obsessive compulsive disorder.
Bell Let's Talk Day this year is on January 21st, and the theme is taking a moment for mental health.
We wanted to build into Bell Let's Talk Day this year the notion of agency and people being empowered. There are things, in spite of what's going on in the world, there are things we can do to improve and support our mental well-being.
And Mistyshin and the staff at Ontario Shores are there to help with that. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A new report released by the Centre for Addiction and Mental Health finds alcohol consumption that rose during the COVID-19 pandemic is just one of several alarming long-term trends that hasn't gone away. Just over 3,000 adults completed an online self-reporting survey about their habits. Topics including smoking, drinking, drug use, mental health, and physical health.
It's an interesting report to see from the health unit's perspective because it gives us a provincial perspective.
The report found just under 80% of respondents used alcohol in 2019. In 2025, that number has not dropped significantly, coming in as 76.2%. Alcohol dependence is being reported at higher than pre-pandemic levels, rising from 7.4% in 2019 to 13.9% in 2020.
For years, we have been really emphasizing opioid use within the substance use framework. And it's not just the illicit substances, it's these legal but also very harmful substances that we need to be reiterating the message out to our community about responsible use, abstinence if that's appropriate for you, and harm reduction.
And respondents who reported poor mental health increased from 26.2% in 2022 to 29% 5 years later. The report goes on to document a shift away from purchasing alcohol from beer stores, 25% in 2016 down to 12.3% in 2025. 10% say they have purchased alcohol in grocery stores in the last 30 days, and 6% from convenience stores.
There is a documented correlation between availability of a substance and people's interest and uptake of that substance.
Clash at the Coliseum, still ahead in night of community competition, and professional basketball at Caesars Windsor. The annual Brentwood Dream Lottery announced big winners this weekend. Lottery entries generated about $200,000 to help maintain treatment programs at a time when the wait list is about 2 months.
We know the community is what makes this lottery happen. It's not ourselves here, it's the community. If nobody buys, we don't have a lottery. And everybody stepped up this year and really did.
And I thought, oh, like what kind of scam is this?
The impact was our sales went down from last year, but our prize board dropped by $800,000 also. And for us this year, we will be more successful than last year by a great deal.
Who's involved with Brentwood, all the volunteers, those who love this community, the people who live in it, thank you very much for all that you do to help build everyone up.
So what it really allows us to do is to at least currently operate as we have. This will keep us pretty whole in terms of our funding and our funding envelope, where we would like to get to a point where we can supersede that. It's important that we start addressing what the issue is, and when individuals are ready to come see us, we want to be available, we want to be able to get them into services, because the sooner we can intervene, the better the prognosis is for folks.
Some Essex County OPP members took the day off on Sunday to lace up their skates against former NHL stars. Players hit the ice at the Atlas Tube Recreation Center as part of the NHL Alumni Benefit Tour. The game pinned former pros against local law enforcement in front of a crowd of a few hundred. All proceeds from the game support Special Olympics Ontario athletes and their families. Since its inception in Essex County, the game has raised between $8,000 and $10,000 each year.
Every time I put out the email for them to sign up as to who's involved, it's usually the same people signing up year after year because they realize how much fun they had the previous year.
The Windsor Express is bringing back the Clash at the Coliseum. The Express say it's been nearly a decade since the team played at Caesars Windsor. On Tuesday, February 24th, will be the 5th time an Express game will be played inside the Coliseum. The Express will take on the Sudbury Five with tip-off set for 7 p.m. Tickets start at under $40 and go on sale this Friday. A portion of the proceeds will support the UHC Hub of Opportunities and its 15 food banks across Windsor, Essex.
This is your CTV Windsor Hour Community Calendar. Join us for a wonderful soup lunch, January 14th from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Proceeds benefit St. Clair College Foundation and student scholarships. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Melanie Kettner. And Melanie, we're talking about the Detroit Free Press Marathon. I'm hearing there's a new record this year.
Yeah, that's right. So for the 3rd straight year, the marathon has sold out its 2 most popular races. However, this time it sold out months earlier. Registration opened on January 1st, and 1 week later, the full marathon and international half marathon were already at capacity. Race weekend is October 16th to 18th. Organizers say this was the fastest sellout in their 49-year history. Over 2,500 Canadians have signed up. Of that, more than 1,000 are coming from Windsor. Organizers say they expect nearly 30,000 28,000 participants over race weekend. That's up from 26,000 last year. And of course, I'll be one of them. We've got those details online at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And Melanie, we also have an online story with some family-friendly activities at the Chimchak Museum.
Yeah, for sure. So the city is inviting families to brush off the cold with a free visit to the museum on Saturday, January 24th. From 10 to 5, everyone can enjoy many activities, including children's crafts, film screenings, and some new exhibits. The museum gift shop is also having a sale. Even though it's free admission, visitors can bring non-perishable food items for the Windsor Youth Center. And you can see a full list of activities on our website. And in our social spotlight, what's being described as a staged hockey fight is now under investigation. The U8 game took place during the intermission of Sunday's Hershey Bears game. Of course, footage of the brawl soon quickly spread on social media, and the Atlantic Amateur Hockey Association says it's looking into some disciplinary action.
I bet that is not something you want to see, I mean, at any level under, I guess, the NHL, especially if it, you know, is trending online. We don't want our kids to see this.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll have to follow it and see what happens.
Okay, if our viewers at home have a trending video they want to send us, how can they do it?
Yep, they can email us at newsnow@bellmedia.ca or text it to 10400.
Okay, thank you, Melanie. What happens when an Uber driver also has a karaoke machine? You can really see how strong the winds are in this video.
Yeah, Colchester Harbor there. A couple of things to point out. The wind gusts there were in the 70 to 90 range. In town, in Windsor, we're talking about 50s, but it's going to be a windy day tomorrow. Let's take one more look at our EnterCare 7-day forecast. I am calling for rain to begin in the afternoon, changing over to some flurries, so we'll see a transition. High of +5 tomorrow, so above seasonal yet again, but it's going to feel colder, certainly late in the day. Wednesday, flurries. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, flurries and/or snow. And the difference between the two is we talk about the intensity and the concentration. So flurries much lighter and more dispersed, snow more concentrated and likely to accumulate. I think we'll see some accumulations by the weekend. Average temperature for this time of year is closer to -1. Will be about -3 later in the week, so it's going to get colder.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Okay. Sanjay, a lot going on for tonight.
Yeah, a lot more from the budget we didn't have time to get to earlier in the show. Tonight, we'll show you why one of the calls for transit fares not to be raised is coming from the health unit. Plus, one city councilor says he has a plan to bring free parking at meters back to 6 p.m. while at the same time boosting revenue to the city. So we'll have all those details tonight at 11.
Okay, and if you've ever jumped into an Uber or a Lyft, drivers will sometimes offer you an extra, like a bottle of water, some gum, or the use of a phone charger. But one man in Toronto is upping the experience with lights, glasses, and a microphone. CTV's John Valley-Rao explains.
Yes, this is my car.
The famous car.
Famous car.
Rideshare driver Bakir Ozil showed us his Kia Niro, which as many fans have never seen from the outside, because it's what happens inside.
Do you want to see lights? This is life.
That's turned him into a social media celebrity.
I love it because it's changed my energy. It's energy. People are happy. I'm happy.
Ozil is originally from Turkey and immigrated to Canada about a decade ago. The father of 3 couldn't speak English, which limited what he could do for work.
I came here. I do different job, but my body has sickness.
He says a health problem 2 years ago nearly killed him. Then last summer, while working as a rideshare driver,
my oldest daughter gave me this one.
He was given this karaoke mic, which sparked an idea. He selectively asked passengers if they wanted to sing, and you can see the result.
They are giving crazy reaction. One girl gave me, "Shut up! I love it! No way!" Do you like music?
During a ride, Ozil started surprising passengers in and around Toronto, asking them first to choose a song. Unexpectedly, lights then come on. Then he hands out those mics and glowing glasses. The passengers are asked if they're okay with being filmed as they take part in a karaoke party.
Everybody tell me you made my day.
Are you the Tripman?
Known as the Tripman, he's now got almost 1 million subscribers on Instagram, and he gets recognized by total strangers. But says he hasn't actually made much money because Instagram doesn't pay creators.
Each month, watch my videos 50 million, but zero money. Zero money. It's okay.
Working as a driver to help support his family, also says the karaoke was never about making cash, but rather to spread good vibes, to be loving and thankful, and never forget to have fun. John Benavalli-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
How could you not have a blast in that vehicle? That would be like the best way to end your night. It doesn't matter how the night went, good or bad. Oh.
I sense a bit of joint inspiration from the lights of Cash Cab, the music of carpool karaoke.
Yes.
He better not have anything less than 5 stars, by the way.
Oh,
yes, of course.
definitely.
Of course. Yeah, no. What great vibes from that, right? And even if you're caught in traffic, being born and raised in Toronto,
You could care less if you were stuck in traffic.
Who cares? I'd be like, let's play the whole album.
Yeah.
There you go.
So.
Yeah. On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And Gary and I will be back with your only late local newscast at 11.
Good night.
See you.